officially lost his Not Like Us lawsuit, and it's done forever. Dang, that's a little dramatic. Done forever? I don't know. We gonna see. Like I was subscribed. I just kind of said that. I didn't say he was done forever, but I just said like, damn, you lost the lawsuit, so it just looked like you just did some real bitch ass shit. Like, for real. Like, if you would have won a lawsuit, they'd have like, all right. I didn't even know it was defamation. Well, I kind of did know. I thought he was suing the label because they was like pushing it more. I wasn't really into. I didn't know it was like defamation for that. Not like us. I mean, for the shit he said. That's crazy. That's actually kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy.
Now, when it comes
Let's see what they say though, because I don't really know the facts. Let's see what he said.
to Drake, hold up, he's out of here. We gotta say it better and say it with me. Now, when it comes to Drake, Lawbreeze and Gentlograms, they got him. Well, now, if you are ready to see the end of Lawbree Graham, Supak Shakurni, and every other awful thing that this Karen has done for the last year, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, I know I already came out today and I told you I was so done because the Drake stans have proved that they are just illiterate, but we had to double back today because we just have some of the biggest hip-hop news really of the entire year or last 2 years if we're being honest, because what we have now officially found out in a breaking report is that Drake's defamation lawsuit against UMG over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us has been dismissed. And listen, I know everybody's excited about this, so be sure to leave a like because genuinely this is great news for everybody unless you're a cupcake Karen law-loving stan. And so now the reason why...
Nigga says it's good news for everybody. I mean... Nigga says it's good news for everybody. I don't really give a fuck. He says it's good news for everybody. He don't like Drake. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. He do not like Drake. You can hear it in his voice.
Why this lawsuit was dismissed and it got sent to the Cosmics right where Lawbree has been sitting. Well, we're just going to read the entire statement because it's this big and it comes from none other than Judge Vargas, who the OVO standum has just been banking on to save Cupcake's career. Well, this is why you don't bring rap beefs and the loss you took to court. As now the statement that was issued follows. This case arises from perhaps the most infamous rap battle in the genre's history. The vitriolic war of words that erupted between superstar recording artists Aubrey Drake Graham and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth in the spring of 2024. Over the course of 16 days, the two artists released...
Hey, Fantastic Hip Hop. Chill out. This nigga might sue you next. Yeah, he might sue your ass.
That nigga ain't got enough money for him to sue him.
Shit, he got 106,000 subscribers. You can sue him. Chill before he sue your ass next for defamation.
8 so-called diss tracks with increasing heated rhetorics, loaded accusations, and imagery. The penultimate song of this feud, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, dealt the metaphorical blow. The song contains lyrics explicitly accusing Drake of being, can't say that, set to a catchy beat and propulsive bassline. Not Like Us went on to become a cultural sensation, achieving immense commercial success and critical acclaim. Both Drake and Kendrick Lamar have recording contracts with defendant UMG Recordings. And now I can't even read some...
See, the sad thing about this is, right, that Not Like Us, it was fire, and it had a great run. But it's kind of dead now. It's kind of dead now. Like, you really hear it now. I don't really hear that shit no more like I was. I ain't gonna lie. When it first came out, for that first year, yeah, like the first 8-9 months, everywhere. And then the Super Bowl came back everywhere. But this is going to make it come back alive. Because if you would have just been quiet and just held it down, bro, that shit is over. It would have been over. But the lawsuit would just make it look worse, bro. All this shit just made it look worse. The shit died down, at least in New York. I don't hear that shit like I used to. Nigga, you couldn't go nowhere without hearing that shit. You would have thought Kendrick was from New York, how they was playing that shit. That's how big it was. Or the narrative of how they was trying to push it. But I don't hear it no more. I hear him and Sizzle down. That's it. Like, nigga, it's bugging.
Some of these other sentences because, of course, they're going into the inner work.
My son keeping the pulse on Not Like Us. He keeping a pulse on that shit too. I ain't gonna lie.
Things of Not Like Us, and we just can't say that here. But to close this out, and if you're a Drake stan, you're not gonna want to hear this. Drake has brought this action against UMG for defamation, harassment in the second degree, and a violation of Section 349 of the New York General Business Law. And closing things out, what is said is the court concludes that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us are non-actionable opinion. The motion to dismiss is granted. And with this, Aubrey, Cupcake, Karen, Drake, get out of here. You are done. And we are finally almost past one of the worst things that we have ever seen in the history of hip-hop. And what I would ask Drake right now,
he not lying though. This is kind of like the worst shit. It is like it looks even worse because he lost. I didn't even know he was suing. Like it kind of seemed like everybody saying he's suing the label, but it's kind of like he's suing Kendrick. If you sue that nigga for saying like that defamation on that part, like man, that shit, bro, that shit crazy. That shit borderline, like yeah, like that shit borderline telling. That shit like borderline. It ain't telling, but it's just nasty work. Like you took a nigga to court for some words.
His label.
Bro, that shit say his label, bro, but it's them words that you suing. You suing for them words. You say like I thought it was for the label pushing it and shit like that.
That's what it was for.
But no, they just said just now that it's dismissed because it's an opinionated such and such. It's a fictional fucking. It's just a fucking lyric.
I thought he was suing his own label.
I mean, I guess, but Kendrick is part of it. He gotta be.
Nah, he's not suing Kendrick. He's suing his label.
But they dismissed it. They dismissed it, nigga.
Yeah, they did.
Off of the bars being Kendrick's bars. Off of them shits being not real. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's just words.
Oh, okay.
Feel what I'm saying? So it's like you ain't sue Kendrick, but you kinda did. In a way. In a way, like it ain't suing. Yeah, like that's just some whole shit in a way. All the way when you really think about it. Cause I didn't know that by it saying that and they fucking dismissed it for being fucking words that Kendrick said. I thought he was suing because they was like pushing it. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought it was.
That's what he said.
That's what he said, but they threw it away. Because they like, nigga, shut up. It's words. So what if they pushing it, nigga? It's a fucking song, nigga. Yeah, like that's what the nigga said. This hip-hop, nigga. Shut up. Stop bitching, nigga. This hip-hop. Yeah, this hip-hop. Yeah, I don't know, man. That shit just... I ain't never really like look all the way into this lawsuit shit because I just felt like this shit was always some like kind of like lame type shit. Like, so I never really even like looked into it. But just seeing why they dismissed it, it just sounds crazy. It sounds even worse when you hear it. Or it could be, yeah, it just sounds worse. When you sent that little paragraph, Rich, I read that shit. I was like, damn, they dismissed it for that. For the bars, they saying it ain't all right, whatever.
That we have ever seen in the history of hip-hop. And what I would ask Drake right now and what I want to put out there is just this question to all of you who have severed yourselves from hip-hop, have ruined your name in the culture, and who have as not even the court is telling you that you are anywhere near right, and they have just dismissed this thing because they don't even think that Drake's claims can stand any further and they are legitimate enough to go anymore. This is genuinely insane, and I mean hip-hop history in every single way that you want to talk about it, decipher it, and process it. And now with the very words in this statement, because the court concludes that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us are non-actionable opinion, the motion to dismiss is granted. Put this right there in the Hall of Fame of all opinion, the motion.
Because the court concludes that the alleged defamatory statement in Not Like Us, bro, this nigga is different, bro. So what the, like, come on, bro. I don't understand, man. I don't understand.
To dismiss is granted. Put this right there in the Hall of Fame of all of the lines from Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T that absolutely ruined Drake in these rap beefs. Because honestly, for Cupcake, this is the worst, and I mean the very worst thing that he could have ever possibly heard. Because if we really want to just be real with everything and the entire reality of this situation and break everything down and now what all of this means, well, for the most ridiculous thing that I think all of us have ever seen as rap fans, as literally a rapper got so sad and so embarrassed from their loss that they decided to take this thing to court. Now for Drake, if this wasn't the greatest loss of all time, not just in rap, but in anything, it has to be. Because to just understand the way that Cupcake has went this whole time and see how he lost his entire credibility in hip-hop for this, and now he's also being laughed out of the boardrooms, and well, he is losing a ton of business for this, not just for the cost that he had to put into this lawsuit and then also cover UMG's, because that was said in the entire back and forth they were having for almost a year at this point, but in terms of what this is going to mean for Drake going forward, because again, let's remember, while Kendrick won the beef and he definitely became the #1 rapper in the industry, it was still Drake, and UMG was still going to have him right there in that silver medal spot for their portfolio and what they were doing with the hip-hop genre as a whole, and Drake really could have been fine. He could have taken that silver medal, he could have made his garbage music, he could have done his numbers, and he could have just moved on, but no. Drake really banked every single thing that his career was lying on with this lawsuit, and now it's all for absolutely nothing. And really, to just see that and process it, it shows why this downfall has been so catastrophic and why, honestly, looking at all of this now, only gonna get so much worse because there's nowhere else he has to go. He has exhausted every single option, from trying to gaslight us and convince us that he was the winner in the Heart Part 6, to then doing all of the other clown stuff he has, like lying on Kendrick's name over and over again and spreading any other narrative he could, to now with this lawsuit after crying to the courts to try and say that there was something wrong with this and that this wasn't allowed, which really for Drake, this was of course to just get back at Kendrick in the most spiteful and disgusting way. This guy's really done, and I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with Drake and UMG's relationship from here, because we know things have already been bad and Drake has been dissing both Lucy and Grange and...
But tell you why Drake could never really be done. Let me tell you why. The bitches love him, bro. Yeah, the bitches love him. Yeah, the bitches love him. And niggas still love him too. Niggas don't really care too much. Niggas don't really care too much. Like, people that really love hip-hop and all that, though, like real hip-hop heads, ain't really fucking with him no more. But the random motherfucker that don't really give a fuck about hip-hop, just like the bop, like the music, they gonna still listen to Drake. He still gonna make some catchy shit. It's far from over for him. But the motherfuckers who love hip-hop, he'll never be looked at like, yeah, I mean, he kind of, and niggas still might, but a lot of people will not qualify him to be like, you feel me, like the greatest ever type. He kind of fucked that up for himself. Because if he would have won this Kendrick battle, niggas would have probably been like, yo, Drake the best ever. Yeah, niggas would have probably dicked, you feel me, like, yo, Drake the best ever. If he would have won, there was no way he was winning, but, you feel me, but some way he would have won that shit. You feel me, he probably went down as the best ever. Now niggas gonna be like, nah, that nigga sued. Remember he lost the this shit is forever and better than hip hop. Yeah, like, yeah, this shit is embedded in hip hop. It's over, like, nigga. It's a rap. Like, you're to the talks coming about the greatest. Nigga, like, Kendrick whipped him though. He might always have Kendrick above you now.
And the entire music industry has really been over him, and you know that relationship just can't be well. And listen, I mean, UMG still clearly does have control and ownership of a lot of Drake stuff, so he's really not even in a hand where he has any sort of leverage, despite the fact that they don't even like him. And really with that, if you were expecting Drake to drop any music or drop Iceman anytime soon, I think that this just put every single thing that he has had on halt. Because to be honest, with the label, they are your bosses. And if they don't want you to drop, you're not going to have the leverage to do anything. And as you have lost the respect and support of hip hop culture, the interest of fans, and now you have lost the boardrooms as well. genuinely, I don't know where Drake is going to go from here, and I'm very interested to see how he's going to react, and I'm sure he is the cupcake Karen at the end of the day. There will be some sort of a response and some sort of plan he is going to have, probably now that he has lost literally everything, to not just take down his reputation and rap legacy like we saw with this lawsuit, but there's probably something more drastic than that he will pull out as something. And you know, while we can laugh at Drake and really just talk more about the colossal failure that this has all been for him and his career, name, and image in every single sense of the word, because from a rapper to a person in the industry to a celebrity, you have soiled everything, what I also think we need to talk about here, and what I also think is the best outcome that could have came out of this lawsuit, is that with it being dismissed and with Drake being told to get out of here because you're an absolute joke, well, at least in terms of the principles of things and what rap beef and artistic expression can be, hip-hop, at least for now and at least in this way, has been saved, and rappers are not at least gonna be afraid to some extent to just express themselves however they want, and whether it's a beef or a song, they can actually create the vision the way they want to be. And of course, as rap beef has always worked, you can take a character flaw of somebody and bend that into something that can turn you into a song, to quote Kendrick Lamar. And I mean, with that, I still do think that because of the problems and just the general headache that this has created for the industry and the label system, there will still be a lot of hesitance, especially from artists who are more controlled by the industry, to just create as freely as maybe they would want to be, or if they're in a beef, to respond the way they would exactly want to. I do think, and especially as tensions between a lot of the female rappers have been rising, like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, and everybody hovering around them, this is good because we've seen that a lot of people in that group, like Ice Spice for some reason too, wants to drop diss tracks and wants to get at the people who have been talking about them. And I think with that, it's just going to be good to understand that they can get these tracks off and say what they want, and it's up for the public and the perception of the songs to really determine the winners, as opposed to any of these other games which could end up really bothering and ruining these artists' careers and reputations if this thing with Drake was to go through and if it was to actually work. And with all of that, I do think the implications of what this will mean for hip-hop going forward are going to be both very interesting and very telling to how the entire future and really just landscape of the music business as a whole evolves from here. Because of course, while this lawsuit didn't go in the worst way and freedom of expression in hip-hop would be completely ruined if Drake would have won this thing, or even if he could have gotten it to actual trial, there's still going to be a big lesson to learn here, and I'm sure the industry is going to adapt accordingly to however it's going to benefit them. But as rap has already been diluted and it's been filled with so many just trash rappers and people who are awful for the culture that don't actually care about what was cultivated by the forefathers and founders, we have already had so many issues in rap and so many issues around this very issue. So just to see it get thrown out and dismissed like we have here, this is a clear call and signal for celebration, and it's one of the best things that could have possibly happened in all of rap right now, because finally we can say it. And you know, I was also thinking about this as guys like Screwface Gene were mentioned in this, and Screwface reacts to a lot of my videos. We are also good, so big round of applause and leave a like for that. Hip-hop has at least been saved today, and we are not going to have to worry about rappers having to completely change and never say anything of meaning or of power in their records. And well, in this almost never-ending feud, it feels like, between Kendrick and Drake, now the Cupcakes are gonna have to just cope with another loss of this scale and really just internalize the fact that their guy has never been in a worse and lower place altogether. And honestly, I do wonder, as we saw Kendrick Lamar make a public appearance after his GNX tour ended at a soccer match, well, he was on his phone, had some headphones in, and was sipping on a cup of tea, it looked like, and just with how unfazed and
also got the headphones in here, they got the AirPods. Also in the cut with the headphones in.
Calm that Kendrick looked. I mean, we know Kendrick is never a guy who's really gonna show how he feels or even just act like a fool, even if everything was against him. But just seeing how cool and collected he always is, and at the same time this happened the next day, you do wonder if he and his team were told that this was going to be thrown out and the judge was not going to put it any further, at least for what we have seen now, which again is this was about defamation, which was the content of the lyrics, And if Drake were to get any further with what he was trying to do here, it would have set hip-hop back in ways where, honestly, I don't even know if the industry would support.
It would have, though. He got a point. That shit would have, niggas would have been leery on what they said on tracks. Like, nigga might sue. Nigga might pull a drizzler on the nigga.
Supported even at the level it is now, which has already felt a lot lower than it has been in years. Things could have just been really bad. But honestly, as I'm thinking about Kendrick Lamar and Drake in this way, and the lawsuit, and even the precedents that have been set, while this thing has been thrown out and freedom of expression in rap has been preserved to some level, I always do think about that one time where the label did tell Drake that if they have a problem with Kendrick Lamar, he should just go full Tupac on him himself. And with that, you know, as I said earlier, that Drake probably has some sort of a petty spite play now to just pull this whole thing down with him and take a bigger L, but at the same time try to make everybody lose and more annoyed in the process. I just have to put this out here, as much as it feels like a win right now, could Drake's next move be to sue Kendrick Lamar directly? Which honestly, as a hip-hop fan, the idea and the precedent that that could set does concern.
If he do that like directly, that's mad. That's crazy. This shit all crazy though. Like ain't none of everything about this whole shit is crazy. He did bad, bro. Like all around the border. Yeah, he did bad, my nigga. You really think about it, he just did bad.
Concern me a little, and I do think that it's not out of the realm of possibilities as a whole. But listen, I guess we're just gonna have to wait.
You know, my thing was when I first heard about the lawsuit and shit like that, I really was like, damn, this nigga really out the loop if he think that that song wasn't as big as it was. Like, just off, like, that shit was just a natural hit, bro. Like, I don't think they had to do too much promoting for that, bro. Like, that shit was so catchy, so fire. My kids was loving that song when that shit came out. My daughter, hey, my friend, she loved that part, bro. Like, literally, like, I don't think that was all, like, he just really thought that that shit wasn't as big as it was. That shit was super fire, Drizzy. You bugging. Yeah, he thinking, nah, nigga, that shit was it. That shit was it, bro.
Wait and see for that, and I can't.
He really thinking in his head, there's no way that this song is that good. That's what he thinking. Like, no, nigga, it's that good, bro. It was that good. When it came out, it was undeniably good. It was undeniably, like, nigga, so catchy. Like, you already knew that shit was about to be the anthem for the summer, the cookouts and everything. Like, you already knew that. Once that shit dropped, like, I'm like, oh yeah, slam dunk right here. It's over.
Wait to see how Drake and all of the losers around him react to this. And I know I said I was going to take a little break earlier in my last video, which you definitely should check out, because what the Drake stands kind of just did to me and what it showed me was at the point where I was so exhausted I couldn't even think about what was going on anymore, and I really needed a break. I have to say, this is just amazing news, and you know, I feel great. And when we see Drake react and when we see everything else that follows, I'll be right here to talk about it. And so I want to say, as this has been almost a full year journey with this Drake lawsuit, and we have found some of the biggest and best information possible on it right now, thank you for sticking around. And if you've been here for all the coverage of this, well, that's huge. And I'm sure you are subscribed, but leave a like if you have not already. It really does mean a lot, and it helps me out a ton. And what I will say now is that if you are happy...
He do not fuck with Drake. Look at this one. Man, I still fuck with Drake. Not like that, though. But I ain't gonna lie, I kind of don't fuck with him no more because of this lawsuit shit. But if he would have just took the L, I still would have been fucking with him. I mean, I don't know. I ain't gonna say that because, yeah, I've been kind of like stopped. Even though I was kind of rooting for him in the beef, I kind of stopped fucking with him when he started doing the nail shit. But, yeah, I don't think it's over for him. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't think it's over. We still gonna hear him. He's just undeniable.